Hello there.
I am the king!
What's up? Guys, how was that episode, huh? Fantastic. This show is just, they're doing such a great job with it. I don't even know. I mean, the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones, I mean, they definitely built the characters up, but I love what they're doing here. You know, they're not really messing around. I mean, they're just going right at it. The time jump was okay. It was 6 months about, they said. And I don't expect to be a time jump next episode, but I mean, overall, I love how they're character building. You know, we're finally kind of getting a little bit of that crab feeder guy. We saw like a little, we saw his back, whatever. So they're not like force feeding him right into the story right now, and obviously that's coming. A lot of twists and turns, in this episode as far as the king gonna remarry and stuff, and yeah, I mean, if you knew anything about the topic, and of the book and stuff, you kind of knew he was gonna go with Alicent, just because that's kind of what starts the whole feud. But I mean, the episode was fire. I mean, 10 out of 10 for me, and yeah, I mean, though, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably end up being a really, really good first season, I think. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to dive into here. I took a bunch of notes. I want to go through, and I'll get you guys' opinion on some of this. So, the one thing I did not know at all going into the show was, Lord, Corlys, or is it? Lord Corlys. I didn't know he was going to switch sides. Like, you kind of figured that he was going to be talking to, Daemon, when they showed him, and you kind of figured he was on the other side of the table, but that right there was a little bit of a surprise for me. So that was pretty cool. What other notes I got here? So, then I like how they kind of said, oh well, you need to go give Rhaenyra something to do, and and he's like, oh, you can go pick the king, go deal with the Kingsguard posting or whatever. And they kind of like said, oh, that's a job you can handle, and so it's cool to kind of see. And then they brought back Kristen Cole, which I'm sure he'll be a bigger part in the show moving forward now that we kind of got to see him kind of come on board, and he should be part of this. And I'm interested to see the dynamics between him and Rhaenyra. But yeah, I mean, and not to skip too far ahead in the episode, but when they're over at Dragonstone, like you knew something was going to happen. Like, it was pretty cool when Daemon's Dragon came out, and I was like, okay, maybe they're just going to walk away and we'll figure this out later. But then you see the clouds, and that was epic. That was a great. It reminds me of Daenerys coming on and Drogon and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to see. That was a great scene. And she just walked up like a boss, and basically he's like, just kill me if you want to. He was not going to do it. Daemon reminds me a little bit of, trying to think, like Bronn a little bit in Game of Thrones, where he cares more about himself. And I get that vibe with Daemon where, he knows if he killed her, he's going to be dead as well. So, but yeah, man, that was pretty good. Like I said, there was a lot to dive into. Obviously, we saw the king, and we saw him put his hand in the bowl of maggots. So that's pretty much foreshadowing that he probably won't be along very long. So eventually that's going to happen, and then I'll be interested to see if he is going to end up getting Alicent pregnant and, maybe having a son. I'm sure that part of it, or, because obviously Rhaenyra was thrown off as well as the audience. Like I said, unless you kind of knew the source material, that he was going to choose her over, I think it was Lady Lana. I think it was her name. But yeah, I mean, I just really like the way it's not super slow moving. Like me and my wife were watching it, and they were like, okay, we're gonna go to Dragonstone, and we're thinking, okay, is this gonna be Game of Thrones season 1 travel or Game of Thrones season 7, 8 travel, where it literally takes them, either 4 episodes to get somewhere, or it takes them, the next scene. And I don't have a problem with it. as long as the show is consistent. And I think that is one of the biggest issues that people had with season 7 and 8 is that, like, what is that? I think it's season 7, like episode 4 or 5, when Daenerys is flying out to the, to the north on Drogon, and, it seems like she's there in, minutes, and, pretty much rescues everybody. So that was a little bit annoying. But as long as they're consistent with the travel, if they don't want to spend episodes walking and riding horses, I'm fine with it, as long as like it's consistent. So I think that's the most important thing. What else I got here? So yeah, I'm gonna jump back a little bit as I kind of moved a little bit forward here. So we see the king. He still has that rot or whatever. We're not really sure what it is. I know there's some people online saying that they think it might be grayscale. I mean, it doesn't look like grayscale in any way. So I don't think that's what it is. People are just trying to link the new and the old to the new. So I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just a way to show that he's slowly dying, and like I said, we'll see what happens if he ends up getting Alicent pregnant or not. Moving forward from there, we went over to it was pretty much going to Dragonstone, and we had a couple other little scenes. Obviously, with the king walking with Lady Lana. It was a little cringy, a little strange. I mean, I thought she was like 9 or 10. They came out and said she was 12. But not that, But, then there had to be a reason. He's the king, so he's got to take a wife, and they're trying to join houses. And I do like that they did a little twist. And, that makes Otto happy, obviously. And obviously there's going to be a lot of tension now between Alicent and Rhaenyra. And that's what I'm in for. I mean, that's basically the premise of the series of the book, is the tension between those two characters. And right now we're still with the young versions of both, and we know that the actresses have been hired for the older versions. And so, I mean, I don't know when we'll be at that point. I would assume it's going to be in season 1 at some point, but they may have. Well, I guess it has to be season 1 because they just got renewed for season 2. Even though I'm sure they knew. Maybe there's a time jump in episode 9 or 10. In true Game of Thrones fashion, episode 9 is usually the huge episode. And so maybe in episode 10, maybe there'll be another time jump. But I don't think there's gonna be another time jump next week. I think there's enough set up now where we can kind of continue the storyline at the present day. So, let me think. Yeah, I think next thing we had was when Otto went to Dragonstone. We kind of talked a little bit about that. Maybe you guys know in the comments, wasn't it the Golden Company in Game of Thrones? Who was it that had hired them? Was it Stannis? I don't remember. I think it was Stannis, but maybe you guys remember. But so this is the Golden. What do they say? It's not the Golden Company. I don't think it's the same group. I wasn't able to rewatch obviously the episode again, so there's a couple of notes I tried to go back and get that I might have missed, but yeah, I don't think it's the same. So anyway, so we have that. It would have been nice if they would have named it something different than the Golden. I don't know if it's the Golden Army or the Golden. I wish I would have went back and saw that part. Anyway, so we saw that. We don't really know what kind of warriors those people are or whatnot. I thought we were gonna get a little swordplay there, but the dragon thing was cool. I definitely like that better, and it definitely made Rhaenyra be like, "Listen, you made me go pick out a Kingsguard, but I'm gonna bring my dragon and I'm gonna bring this egg." So that was awesome. That was awesome. Might have been actually the best scene so far in the series. Is it Gold Cloaks? Yeah, you know what? Maybe it is Gold Cloaks. Okay, so Gold Cloaks is the new one. So yeah, I know. So it's obviously not the same as Golden Company. But again, we know the Golden Company was basically useless, and they did nothing with those characters. So we'll see what happens with these Gold Cloaks or whatnot. And from there, they bring back the egg, and then yeah, I mean, kind of had that reveal with Corlys and Daemon, and like I said, I did not know, so that definitely I think evens the playing field. Um, so that definitely gives Daemon some power now. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was a really good episode. I really liked it, and I don't know, man. I'm it's tough because we have a whole week, and it's tough. It's I want to watch the next one. So I don't know. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see. Starting to see how smart she is. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can definitely tell that they have her going to be a very very strong character. And I agree. Damon has a secret crush on her. I agree with 100%. And that's probably why he's like, once the king's dead, maybe he can get back into her good graces and whatnot. And so I agree with you on that. Definitely, you can tell there's a little something there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought the episode was great. I just did. What else can we talk about? I mean, going back to the first episode, I kind of was I was kept thinking, I'm like, is Alicent sleeping with I think it's a Viserys, right? And I kept thinking, I'm like, well, it sounds like that's what her dad wants her to do. So yeah, I mean, to me, it definitely sounded like it. But now, I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's confirmed, but it's definitely gonna be happening, right? Yeah, I'll be shocked if she doesn't get pregnant. I mean, I think that's kind of where we're headed. Christian Cole, I want to kind of talk a little bit about him. So now that he is the King's Guard, I think that. So I'm trying to think. So if we go back to Game of Thrones, that would have been Sir Barristan. Is that the same position? I think it was, and then I think eventually Jamie had it too. No, Jamie. No, I think it was Sir Barristan, and then he got relieved. Oh yeah, her So it's not her aunt. It's her. Or would it be her aunt? Is it her aunt? Because that's the sister. Yeah, so it would be her aunt. Yeah, that was a nice little exchange there. I don't know who that actress is who plays her, but man, she was good, and Rhaenyra really gave it to her, and then she gave it right back. That was great. Um, yeah, that was pretty cool. And I just want to say, LSAPC, appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, man. Let me know what you think about the episode in the comments there. But yeah, so that was a really good scene, and obviously there's gonna be something going. Well, she's married to Cora, so she's gonna kind of be on the other side, and this is obviously what starts the Civil War. With the whole Targaryen Civil War thing. So yeah, I think it was yeah, it was yeah, Sir Barristan. Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of so Christian Cole basically has his position. Sometimes there's so many characters. Sometimes it's nice to go back to somebody we know and go ahead and kind of link it so you kind of know exactly what their position is or job is or whatever. So, but yeah, so I think Christian Cole is going to be a pretty big part. I think he's obviously going to be some type of love interest as well. Now, is it going to be for Alicent or Rhaenyra? That's the question, and that's what's going to be super interesting. Because yeah, it'll be one of the two. It will definitely be one of the two. All right, man. See you, Bob. I'll talk to you later. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. So when they were, so that was. I'm trying to get some of these names down now. So we got the Grand Maester. I don't know if they've actually stated his name yet. I was hoping to try to get that name. So I don't know if anybody knows that. Let me know in the comments. And because I'm trying to get some of these characters down. So we have the Grand Maester, and then you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about a little bit of that opening scene with the crab feeder. So basically, this guy is taking people who I guess come to the port, and he's just killing them, and he's feeding them these crabs, which the crab CGI, it could have been a little bit better, to be honest with you. The dragon, I love the dragons, but the CGI in those crabs was a little bit, But I think it's an interesting plot, because now Damon can go in there and probably end up defeating this guy, and and the realm's gonna look at that like, oh, okay, so he did something and the king didn't, because the king did not seem like he cared. And if you go back and watch that opening scene, the first scene that we see is the king pouring some wine, or getting wine poured to him, and right there it just symbolizes like, yeah, I'd rather just sit here and drink some wine than care about these people who are getting killed by crabs. So if I had to put money on it, I would probably have to say that Damon is probably going to take care of that. And we may even see that next episode. There's I think there's 10 episodes, so we're 2 in already, so we got 8 left, and so we could possibly see that. I would assume that the crab person, or I'm not even sure what his name is, the crab feeder. I'm assuming that he's gonna at least be in the show, though. Like, I don't think they'll just like, oh, hey, I'm Damon, and yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna kill you, and he has nothing to do. So it may even be several battles. So who knows? But hopefully we get to see a little bit more of that character, and and maybe they do fight once, twice, or whatever it is. But we'll see. I mean, I want them to build that character. I don't want Damon to just go there and run over him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, like I said, loved it. I thought it was just as good as last week's, even though maybe a little less action. But some of the interactions with the characters were fantastic. The whole, and they had that little prayer circle thing that they're doing by the fire. It was Alicent and Rhaenyra, and she was kind of going over like kind of how she does it and stuff. And I thought that was a nice little touch, especially with what happens at the end of the episode. Because now she could be here like her stepmom or something like that. So it's really strange the way all that works out. But yeah, I mean, you guys have any questions or anything, shoot them down there. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think we covered most of it. I'll probably have a video later this week. I'm gonna rewatch it again tomorrow, and I'm gonna take a deep dive into the episode. And I'll probably post that on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I really like rewatching it. Last week I rewatched it, but honestly, like I was messing with this computer for so long. Finally got my new computer, so I hope this looks great. I hope it's streaming nice, because I put a lot of work and effort into this last week to make sure it was up and ready to roll. So, but yeah, if there's no questions or anything, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be live again next Sunday after episode 3. And like I said, I'll be posting another video this week with a little deeper dive. I know there's a ton of those on YouTube. I know, but this is the thing I've been waiting for. From the first time I created my channel, and I knew I wanted to do Game of Thrones and Star Wars. When House of the Dragon was announced, I was like, yes, finally we get it. So hopefully you guys want to come back and check me out. So, all right, guys, have a good night. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out, and don't forget, keep those heads on. All right.